Hi guys, it's Sana and Mona Ali here, and we have Prakash Pathak, one of our Property Investors Academy members. Hi Prakash, how are you doing?
Hi, good, thank you.
Well,
So,
thank you so much for
yeah.
making the time for us today.
No worries, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Today's training session and the discussion, Prakash, is based around your journey of starting with the Property Investors Academy and where you were at the time and what sort of a property did you buy, what learning process you went through. We'll be just asking you a few questions. So
But
yeah, Mona,
before we actually jump
yeah.
into that, I just wanted to check in that people can actually hear us really and see us actually for that matter.
Hear us and see us. And if you're watching a replay, please put hashtag replay as well.
Yeah, and if you're watching live, please say hello.
Yep, I'd like to hear from a few of you.
And hello, Prakash. Say hello, Prakash.
Yeah, just type in hello, Prakash in the comments.
So people are just joining in now.
Hi, Ramesh.
Hello, Sudhir. So yeah, okay, great. The audience just building up now. Hello, Ahmed. Hello again, Ramesh. Hello, Prakash. Ramesh is saying hello, Prakash.
Hi, Ramesh.
So yeah, okay. People are just joining in, and again, yeah, would love to hear from more of you.
Yeah, and guys, please feel free to pop in any questions as we are going through the training, and then Prakash or we can come back to you towards the end of the session.
Yep. So if you've got any questions for us or Prakash, just pop them in the comments as we go along. Awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Great. So Prakash, tell us, what was life like before you joined the Property Investors Academy?
It was unsure and confused, like I have mentioned before. So so I had my principal place of residence in Western Sydney. Went through that boom in 2012, 2013, and I had built a bit of equity. I didn't know anything about the investment, how it works, and what are the things to look at before investing or buying a property. So I knew there was equity from my owner occupied property. So I just wanted to spend. I knew I wanted to spend and buy an investment property, but I didn't know what to do. So, and I had no idea. I didn't try to educate myself. So pretty much I jumped online, and pretty much a couple of people I came across, I went to one of them, and who happened to be a spruker, I would say. And nothing, I'm not blaming the person. It's my own fault because I didn't do my own research, right? So I bought an off the plan house land package in Queensland, in Greater Brisbane area. I would say paying a premium price. So it's, yeah, pretty high value for that 2017, 2018 period. And I didn't know. So I didn't know, never heard about buyer's agent then. I didn't try, yeah. If I knew like they are buyer agent that actually work on behalf of the buyer, I would go with the buyer agent. And I didn't try to educate myself. I didn't know. So pretty much the person who helped me buy this property was paid by the developer. So I think I paid a bit of a higher price on the property.
Yeah, and I understand some of these commissions can run into like tens of thousands of dollars, and it's factored in the price that you're paying for the property.
Yeah.
So was it a house and land package or something that you bought?
Yeah, it was a house and land package. I mean, with the current boom, it's growing a bit, but still not to the extent I would expect. I mean, so when I thought about buying say, my next investment property, and then I try to do a valuation of that investment property. So I didn't get much increase on that one. So there was no equity, I would say. So I still had to come back to my owner occupier and get the equity out of this to get a second investment. So I would say that it didn't grow.
Yeah, because Mona and I, we get reached out by so many developers, selling agents, and they're like, oh, well, we can help your clients buy properties. And we, having been through the home ownership journey ourselves and having been first home buyers and almost having purchased brand new properties ourselves, the immediate answer is no, we don't think those properties grow because, we were about to buy brand new townhouses in Western Sydney in 2009, and I did a comparison at the Sydney peak of 2017. Those properties had grown 38% versus our usual portfolio. Thankfully, we didn't buy those properties, but that right at the peak, our portfolio had grown 70 to 90% compared to the brand new properties given the price. So so that would have been a lesson. So what clicked for you? What changed that you felt something has to change here?
Yeah, no, so I sort of thought I need to first, I can't go blindly and spend my hard earnings anyway. It's not somebody else's fault. It's my own fault that I didn't do enough research. I didn't do any courses, or I didn't go through a buyer's agent. So I sort of thought, now, this has to change. So I knew there was some equity in my owner occupier rather than that investments for my next investment. So so I just wanted to use that equity to buy me another investment property. And then this time I sort of felt I need to do some research, do some, I would read property magazines or join online blogs or Facebook groups. And that's when I came across the Property Addicts Australia group. And then I sort of found you guys there on the Facebook group.
Sure. And Prakash, what was the biggest challenge you were struggling with, which, Property Investors Academy helped you with?
So I think it was more, I was very uneducated, I would say. And then at one point, so I said, in terms of educating myself, I started looking all those podcasts and I would say the magazines or the internet materials, and then it sort of created confusion as to, there are so much information, right? So I was confused. What is the right one? Like one person is saying one thing and the other one is saying another thing, and maybe there are people who are just doing talking the talk rather than talking the walk. I would say walking the talk. Sorry, So I sort of I was confused and I didn't have too much clarity on. I knew a little bit by then that when I wanted to invest, that I sort of tried to educate myself with all the online stuff, and then it created sort of confusion rather than clarity. So
because there's so much information out there. How do you really narrow it down into what you actually need versus what you don't need, and how do you utilize it really?
Yeah, exactly. So there are people who say, oh, house and land package fantastic, or like good value, good depreciation, good rent, whatever they say, and then other people say something else, right? So you buy a bigger block of land that's better for you, so whatever. So it's like all mixed, and this state is better, this suburb is better. So you do your research and you get confused. The more research you do, I think the more confused you get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we've, I guess, touched on it a little bit. So what triggered the thought that that you were at a point that, oh, that's it, something has to change, or I need to do something different? Like, what was that trigger point for you?
Same. Like I didn't want to spend my hard-earned money again in confusion. I just didn't want to buy an investment property without knowing anything. I just wanted to educate myself. So I said, better.
And
find
what
somebody.
would go on.
Find somebody that could help helped me. Yeah.
And what would the alternative have been? Like, had you not educated yourself, what was the alternative? What would the outcome have been then?
Oh, obviously I would have again gone blindly and then, bought something stupid, I would say. A lemon. That wouldn't,
Lemon,
that wouldn't,
yes.
that wouldn't really, that wouldn't really help me again to build my portfolio, I'd say.
Yeah.
Or get me that income I want.
Absolutely. Lemon. Yeah, it's a word we hear quite often in this group. And when you joined the Property Investors Academy, what was your number one goal and why was it important to you?
Yeah, so first thing was like I wanted a passive income, like when I retire or when as I grow older for the family.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons to have that, so you don't have to keep on working after you retire. So that is one of the thing. And the other thing was like if you have that capacity and then you try to educate yourself, and whenever you can, you buy more properties.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great.
And Prakash, obviously, you had tried this broker who had sold you this property, and you had read magazines, joined several online forums. But what other things did you try to achieve your goal of buying a good property?
Yeah, and I attended several webinars. I actually joined a group and paid them money, and ultimately I realized they are again selling you house and land package, and I was sort of just falling again in the same trap that I had fallen into like 4 years before. So I thought, oh, hang on, I'm going in the same path. I didn't realize there were that kind of group, but so I had to. So they had that time buffer, so I had actually transferred my half of my money, and then I said, no, why, I don't want to go ahead. So they sort of refunded me, but so it had gone to that extent again.
Wow. Okay. So there's a lot of groups which are disguised as mentoring groups, but ultimately they are still selling brand new properties.
Yeah. So I mean, there are groups saying, "Oh, we'll get you. We buy in bulk. We'll get you a better deal. It's cheaper than you buy alone. Like buy as one person. We buy for 20 people, but all they do is, I think they obviously work with the developer and charge you premium fees.
Yeah. And
if they're charging 30, 40, 50 grand extra, that's obviously that capital growth you're gonna get. It's already down, right? So it's already
We often hear from people that, but I don't have to pay them. But ultimately, you are the one paying.
Exactly.
For that.
Who is paying then, right? So
who's paying exactly? Who's paying then?
They are not doing it for free.
Yeah, it is all factored in the price there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Excellent. And so I'm just curious that all this, obviously the research that you did, and also joined this group and almost paid for it, or the research that you did primarily, it obviously didn't quite work, right? It didn't quite give you the solution that you were after.
No. So I think there are a number of people out there, like they call themselves property strategists or whoever. So they're not licensed, right? They don't have any accreditation or certification, and I think it's not a very regulated industry, I would say. So it's very easy, for a normal people to believe that they will help you achieve your dreams. Well, they're achieving theirs rather than yours, really.
That's true. And also sometimes they can use it as a, I guess, badge of being impartial. But I think what you really need to look at is what sort of licenses do they have, or have
are they even qualified? Are they even qualified to be giving you this advice? Because
some of it, obviously some of it can transcend into financial advice when it shouldn't be, right? Like there's people off saying, oh, you're gonna make $100,000-$200,000 in passive income, when in fact, one, they haven't achieved it themselves,
Yeah.
And two, you don't know in 30 years what's going to happen. You just cannot promise that unless, you are, say, a financial planner. So that's the unfortunate part of the industry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Prakash, I remember because we had received an email from you and you said yes, you were almost sick of spruikers and all. Tell us what triggered the thought of just reaching out to us then.
Yeah, so that's when I did
Mm.
the second time. I'd actually paid a deposit on the second party after I struggled with the first one, and then I had to withdraw my money, and then said, I think, yeah, I need to be smarter than this.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's when I like found you guys are like the Property Addicts group on the Facebook forum and the group, and then I sort of joined. I attended that 5-day challenge,
Mm.
which sort of I liked, and then obviously you are registered mortgage advisors, brokers, and you are buyers agent, and you've done like you've worked in the industry and you built that portfolio yourself. So I sort of, in that sense, I sort of had that trust in you when I did that 5-day challenge, and when you said, oh, you guys are doing that Investors Academy, so I sort of wanted to join then because
That's where you heard.
yeah, I was interested to gain that knowledge really because
Mhm.
I mean, like anybody can give any kind of advice, like we already mentioned, right? Because yeah, they don't know, but still they can give you advice. But
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
so but from I mean, to take advice or to take that knowledge from somebody who's worked on the field and who does that day in day out. So
Yeah.
that's good from like to learn from somebody like that. So that's
Oh,
how I.
that's what one of our other clients and mentees says, that, we are practitioners who are teaching. So I guess I think you need to see where you're getting your advice from. Is it just
Yeah.
out of theory or is it out of practice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was your biggest fear or reservation about joining the Property Investors Academy?
So yeah, and I would say that trust factor, because I had sort of struggled in the past with trusting people, and then like my property I bought didn't work out. And yeah, I didn't want to repeat that same mistake. So I was sort of a bit hesitant at first to obviously trust anybody really. So that was the sort of mentality I was in. I mean, I
But
think that's with everybody with the current situation, right?
Mhm.
Maybe there are thousands of property strategists or
Yeah.
whatever we call them. Yeah,
gurus or
gurus.
experts.
Yeah, experts.
So tell us about the moment you decided to join and take that leap of faith.
Yeah, so yeah, I saw that 5-day challenge. I liked like what was the content of it, and you guys said, oh, it's only the tip of the iceberg. So I sort of thought, okay, that's
Mm.
that was pretty good in terms of all those cash flow analysis and yeah, whatever was there, your goal, how you set your goals and stuff. So I sort of like that, and then yeah, and I thought better join the academy.
And was
Yeah.
it really the ice top of
Tip
the
of-
tip of the iceberg?
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah.
It's a very, I would say, it's a very well structured course. It's very in depth. So, I mean, I'm happy to, I'm happy that I sort of joined it.
Great. And what was it like when you started being part of the Property Investors Academy? What did it feel like?
I mean, it was really like clearing my sort of confusion. I would say good. I mean, I would say good group discussion we had, and obviously when I sort of wanted that one-to-one help, like I got help from you guys. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. So I mean, as a group, I would say like all the members of the group were pretty good and cooperative as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I think everyone was adding value to each other, really.
exactly.
in
And
these
then
discussions.
each person had that sort of knowledge that the other person could take from. I mean, apart from you guys, obviously.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn best, right, when you have other people asking the questions or sharing their experience. And did you ever feel any sense of competition? Because a few people are scared, oh, we'll have competition in the group. Did you ever feel that?
No, not really.
Not really.
I think we are more. I would say we are more friend than competitors, right? So I mean, like where we are buying, like it wasn't disclosed. We didn't really actually disclose the property that we are looking, or possibly even like the suburbs that we are looking. But ultimately, we got feedback from you, and then we sort of put to the team as a general comment. And then obviously, if we want further feedback from you, and then we would share it privately with you. So I don't think it was a competition anyway. Yeah. And then like a lot of people had different price range that they're looking. Some were looking, some were looking in like South Australia, some were looking New South Wales, Queensland. So we're looking at a few different places. So yeah.
And I'm curious, what were the most helpful lessons or takeaways for you, and how did you apply them?
Oh, so like I said, I mean, the course was, every week I learned something new. Then I felt like it's very valuable. So starting from your goal setting plan, like how many properties you need to have to earn this much income in how many years, and then obviously you're doing your cash flow analysis, like narrowing down on the location, what state, what suburb, and doing that property selection strategy, right? So obviously what to look in a property when you want to buy it. So it's with a checklist. So obviously, yeah, all those fundamentals and that the infrastructures that we need to look at before we select a suburb, and different data points. So it was like a full on, I would say, like I think it depended how much you want to take.
Yeah. And plus, it was a beta group of members, so we were actually obviously going through the materials and the content. So you applied as you went along. So considering that that obviously you were learning over a number of weeks, you made the decision to buy it really, really quickly once you could put it to good use, the information that you had.
Exactly. Yeah. So obviously we're doing the homework as you went, and then we're selecting suburbs, doing the analysis, selecting properties, doing the deal analysis, right? Doing the cash flow analysis. So I think that was the time when and then like in our homework that we gave, we sort of chose a property in a particular suburb and done those cash analysis and all the data sort of, and then that sort of kept everything fresh, I would say. Yeah.
Well, what I'm most excited about is, Prakash, you'll be able to repeat this with your next purchase, right? You're planning on buying another property in the next few months. So you'll be applying the same stuff. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel great. I feel more confident. Like, I mean, hopefully I'm confident enough that I don't make that same mistake that I made in the past.
And before you know it, you'll have friends popping over and saying, "Hey, Prakash, can you help us find a property?"
Yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, when you want to go? I was just gonna say, what surprised you the most about Property Investors Academy?
I think the course itself, and like the details it had, the strategies, like the property selection strategies, and obviously how you narrow down on a location based on several factors, and obviously the guest speakers that you had from like the data experts and from different fields, the agents and all those people, that was the outstanding part for me.
Yeah, getting other minds right in there and covering all facets of property, and we are still going through that as we go. And I'm curious, what do you think was the hardest part of the academy?
I don't think there was any hardest part. I think for a few people like who didn't have enough time, I mean, you need like a minimal time to commit to the course, right? So when it's going on, so maybe an hour, hour and a half a week, and then you might have to go back and do the homework. I think that's the bit. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're doing it for yourself. So you need,
you're not doing
yeah, you
anyone
need to,
favors.
yeah, that's right. So you need that time for yourself, so that you dig into it and know what's going on, what's what's been taught in the course. So I wouldn't say it's a hard part, but I don't know. It just depends. Like people might think, oh, like I don't have that much time, but I don't see like it's a big deal because it's only one and a half hour every week.
Yeah, well, Prakash, I understand you work very long hours from our early conversations, and you travel a bit for work as well.
Yeah.
And if you are able to do it,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm sure many others can do it, and you have a young family as well to look after.
Yeah. Now, if I can do it, anybody, that's for sure. Yeah. All I'm saying is, like, in terms of the hard, and like as such, there was no hard factor in doing the course. But I mean, in terms of time, you're doing it for yourself. If you want to have that passive income, or have a like a comfortable retirement, or have few properties in your portfolio, obviously you need to have some set aside some time for it. So
it's only your financial future.
Exactly. And then
And with this busy schedule that you've managed to fly to Adelaide, spend the whole weekend in Adelaide, and put viewed 13 properties in a day.
I want to hear from Prakash.
Okay, you tell us.
I was looking at the market, like growing market. I was looking at the listings every week.
Mm-hmm.
And after a couple of weeks, I sort of thought, I sort of thought I would fly myself in one of the weekends and then do some inspections, and so that I'll sort of get the on ground I would say the reality of how the market looks like in Adelaide. So so I mean, I was looking like 3 or 4 suburbs, and they were like about 10 minutes drive. So within that range, there were like 35 properties listed on that weekend. So I sort of narrowed down to 13. That sort of was meeting my criteria, I would say, falling within my negotiables. And out of that 13, I sort of listed the time from one property to the other, what sort of inspection time they had, and then so driving from one to the other for the inspection.
And how many offers?
So I actually put in 7 offers. So out of
amazing.
the 13,
that's amazing, I must say.
So out of the 13, I could discard the 7. Sorry, I would discard the 6, and I put in the offers at 7. I also, wanted to get a feel for the market, so I was sort of offering different price ranges for different properties, so that I just wanted to understand. Obviously, the one I liked most, I had sort of offered a bit higher.
That's a great property. In generic terms, tell us a bit about the property itself.
So it's actually gone up about 30 grand.
Wow.
I looked at the data, right? So when I purchased, when it was in the market, when I looked in the market, and then I looked at the data. So now I'm just looking at it, and then it's gone up by 30 grand.
That's incredible.
That's incredible, and it's only been a few weeks since you purchased it.
It
hasn't even settled.
So I don't know if they've updated the data, but something is there, so it's growing, definitely growing.
And the cash flow wise, it would be neutral to positive. Would that be right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's a corner block.
It's a corner block. So
Flat.
it could be subdivided into 2 detached dwellings, so 2 houses.
Excellent.
So if it wasn't for the Property Investors Academy, do you think you would have been able to spot that deal?
No, I would say I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't have that confidence to start with. And to analyze the, I would say, the fundamentals, what's going on for the suburb, what's the infrastructure or where the schools or whatever you're looking at. And then obviously looking the upsides to the property.
Absolutely. And that brings me to a question. Sorry, it's not on my list, but I just want to throw it out there. So I know you're in Sydney and you were initially looking to buy in Sydney and Newcastle region, or different parts of New South Wales, pretty much. Effectively. You were looking in lots of different locations.
Yeah.
And then you decided to buy in Adelaide. But initially you were applying your learnings within New South Wales. So one feedback that we received from someone recently was, well, I'm going to just buy in my own city anyway, so I don't need the academy. What would you say to someone like that?
Oh, well, I think, it's just opening your horizons, really. I mean, if you buy on I think you need to diversify a bit too, right? So if you buy in your own backyard or the place, it may not grow as much as the next type. So so obviously, based on the fundamentals, what's going on for the state or the area or the suburb, I think you need to find out. And I was looking in New South Wales, but it was more regional. So that comes to personal choices as well, and then obviously what's going on for the area.
Well, you could, one could buy a lemon even in the city they live in, just because they don't know what negotiables, non-negotiables they should go for, what should they avoid in a property.
Yeah. And Prakash, did anyone discourage you from joining the Property Investors Academy or make the process harder for you?
No, not really. It was myself to start with.
Okay.
That sort of pull myself back a bit. Not when I joined, but before I joined. But like we discussed, that's a trust factor. But after that, it was just smooth.
Yeah, awesome. And did you ever feel like you wanted to quit?
No, I was.
No.
You did say once I quit, and then everyone was a bit shocked, and you said I quit looking in New South Wales.
That was the word. I know it surprised you or shocked you, but I said I think I had given enough time in New South Wales researching, and sort of with the growing market, I said I sort of thought better act quickly rather than wait.
Well, that's how you overcame that, right? And moved on fast to somewhere where you saw growth and buying something within your budget as well. And tell us, what was the first big win you got with the Property Investors Academy, or the moment you realize, oh wow, this actually works?
So I would say when I put in my first offer, I was confident. So I was even I didn't get the property, but obviously there would be few failures anybody can imagine with the I would say the growing market. You don't know what the other party is offering, right? So but I was confident enough and to look at the property, to look at the suburb, do some research, what's in for the suburb or the particular property, what's the upside, what's good with the property. So to analyze that and put in an offer. So I think that was, I would say, an achievement that I hadn't done before, on my own. So, I mean, in the background, obviously, every time I sort of did an inspection and I was unsure, I asked you or texted you guys, and then I got a reply from you, have you checked this? Have you checked this? So that sort of guided me. But to go to an inspection and make an offer, that sort of wasn't, I would say, so significant point.
Excellent.
Awesome.
And what's the biggest and most exciting result you achieved? Can you tell us about the moment when it happened, or was it the same offer moment when you had made that offer?
I would say, so obviously it was part of making the offer, but I would say that flying interstate and inspecting those 13 properties and shortlisting them and narrowing down to 7 and making an offer. So I would say that's probably the big factor.
Yeah, well, kudos to you for doing that, Prakash. I think that takes a lot.
Yeah.
7 properties, like I would think maybe
13 to start with.
well,
13.
13. Yeah, I mean, I would say well 3, 4 properties, but seeing 13 and putting offers on 7, that takes a lot.
Yeah, so couple
Yeah.
got accepted, and I got to choose the one.
You got to decide.
So it was more. It was more like gauging. I would say what like the depth of the market as well. Like I said, I put in obviously different price range based on their listing or asking price. So yeah.
You might have won all 7. And what were share with us any other milestones during the process?
Yeah, no, I think tightly knit group. I would say very cooperative, and both of your knowledge and that course content, and obviously the extra guest speakers you have. I think it's all excellent and like a very well structured course. I would say everybody should attend.
Thanks, Prakash. And how is your life different now, and why is it important to you?
I think like I said, I'm a bit more confident. My eyes are a bit more open in the property market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you, I hope you can say that whilst there's a lot of information, you can really narrow down and
zero in
into the right information.
Exactly. Yeah.
And was there a moment when you felt like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening, and I've really actually got this property, or I've actually achieved my goal that I set out to?
Yeah. So like, I mean, when this offer like got accepted, like I was really happy, saying I could do it with the knowledge I sort of learned. And then like the Investors Academy sort of provided me, and I think I was more confident, and then I just thought this is the one I need to go go for, and then so I made that offer and it got accepted.
Awesome. And I'm just curious, I know initially the program was 90 days and then we extended out to 120 days. Often people get into this mindset and they're like, oh, only 90 days or only 120 days. What do you think about that?
I think 90 days is very sufficient. Like people can finish the course in if it's all in there in the portal, so you can finish in 2-3 weeks and start looking for the property, right? So it depends how much time you've got, but I think 90 days is it's more than enough. I think some of our friends purchase in 40-50 days.
Yeah.
Some of our members did purchase within less than 60 days.
So as long as you are confident with the content, and if you have any queries, you come back to you guys asking what it meant, and then I mean you are there to help throughout the process. So
that's right, Prakash, and of course backing yourself up as well. You backed yourself up and you asked the questions, and there's always good questions, or people think, oh, I shouldn't ask a question. But it was about asking the questions and actually going back and implementing it. And you did that really well with it. So what are you excited about next now that you've had this success?
So one more property. I mean, I don't have that borrowing capacity, but from a different source, I would say, I'm looking and trying to get one more.
Get the numbers going.
Going.
Yeah. And what would you tell someone who was in the same shoes as you, or same situation as you? Like if they asked you about the program, the Property Investors Academy, what advice would you give them?
I would say it's a great academy, and then we need to educate ourselves before we jump into the market with our eyes closed. So I mean, otherwise it's a hard-earned money, you're losing it, or maybe you're putting in a lemon that won't grow, or that won't give you the cash flow or the yield that you need. So I think first educating yourself, and then obviously educating yourself through somebody like the Property Twins or the Property Investors Academy, that you walked the talk, right? Unlike a lot of other people. and like you've got your own portfolio, your registered mortgage brokers, advisors, and buyers agents. So you're doing day in, day out, like we said before. So obviously to learn that process through you guys is really helpful. So I would suggest everybody, really, I mean, whoever is interested, to get that knowledge from I would say proper source. I mean, in the internet, there are a lot of conflicting and confusing information. So I think which we need to be aware of. And yeah, there are a lot of people that obviously they want to sell you for their gain, that I almost got trapped twice.
Oh, in terms of, yes, our academy members are learning to be their own buyer's agents and pretty much rinse and repeat, because nothing is held back from a perspective of how you should negotiate, how you should put an offer. What should you be looking for, how you should do your cash flows.
The questions to ask. So Sana and I have pretty much not held back anything, and we've just shared our knowledge as part of the Property Investors Academy. So
yeah, sure.
And is there anything else, Prakash, you'd like to add before we go into the questions?
I think I'm pretty happy with the Property Investors Academy, and I would definitely recommend to my friends, and like, whoever is watching, so that they want that confidence and clarity in property investing.
Great, thank you so much, Prakash. So before we dive into the questions, guys, if you'd like to schedule a chat, Sirat will pop in the link. So it's meetme.so/Property Investors Academy. That's meetme.so/Property Investors Academy. So if you'd like to schedule your initial chat, Sirat will pop in to speak with you guys. So going to the questions, I don't know if I can see all.
City, it's not showing all questions. I believe Sadir was asking that there's some other data-driven academies or courses out there, and how are we different? So Sadir, I'd say obviously Prakash has touched on it throughout our interview, our catch-up today. So Sana and I are qualified mortgage brokers, so we are providing you advice from, like, even though we may not be your finance brokers or mortgage brokers, but we are providing advice to you from many years of experience with finance, and also having built our own portfolio. And we are qualified buyers agents, so we are actually licensed to provide that advice. So we are providing you with advice, what we do day to day in our business. And what we've noticed is, whilst there would be other programs out there, but there are many unqualified people who are running it, who do not have the qualifications, and they may be promising the world, which may fall into financial services advice, really. And they may not be qualified to give you that input.
That's dangerous. I'd be cautious of anyone who is claiming that you're gonna on par to making 100 to 200K in your property portfolio.
It sounds lovely to as an investor, or as like someone who wants freedom, financial freedom, security, stability. Sounds really attractive, but are they actually qualified to give you the advice that they are giving you, which Sana and I are? So,
but we're not promising 100 to 200K passive income. I'd be clear about that one. And guys, the questions are kind of disappearing. I don't know. I know Rachel asked how much is the academy. So Rachel, please schedule a time. Sirat has popped the link in, and we are going to chat in that call on what the investment is. You also asked how much time investment is required. So Prakash said an hour and a half, plus whatever extra time you want to invest in your research and your homework.
And I would like to add, one of our mentees recently said, who've just joined the academy, that they've actually put aside like literally a week, and they're going to get through the materials, because obviously a lot of it is about implementing, because it's a very practical, so it's about implementation. So we're going to get through it very, very quickly, leaving them all the time to do the research and apply the learnings. So it's up to you, really. It's self-paced from that respect.
Yep. And Sapphire Cat said, I'm sorry, I missed the earlier part about Prakash talking about why house and land wasn't a good deal. Prakash, do you want to shed light on that?
Yeah, I think there are some obviously pros and cons to it, but I think I see more cons than pros for house and land package. I think, yeah, so the developer, like, or the person we buy from, they charge normally a premium price where the land component is always smaller. And then since it's a new house, it's obviously the building is actually more cost. So as we know, the land value always grows and the building sort of, it depreciates. So if we buy maybe an existing property with a bigger block of land, I would say that's a better option than buying a house and land package. Obviously, I think it's got that other benefits like tax and depreciation and all other benefits, but I would still, I mean, it would come to personal choices, but yeah, I would say that I would prefer the older properties.
And you're overpaying as well, right? For those,
Yeah,
the premium.
Exactly, yeah.
The premium because of it being new, and premium because of, hefty commissions that are involved in whoever's selling you the marketing of the developers.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though you're not paying them a fee up front, the fee is actually factored into the price that you're paying in the tens of thousands of dollars. Yep.
Yeah.
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 And Vishal had also asked Prakash, how did you get approval for 7 houses?
So I didn't have to pay.
Yeah.
I didn't have to pay money for the approvals, right? So it was just writing in a piece of paper. But I was confident out of the 13 houses I inspected, I sort of wanted to submit the offers. It's not approval. I only got approval for 2 houses. Sorry, I think if I misheard that, but yeah.
No,
but
finance.
I think Vishal, just to clarify, you put offers on 7 houses. You did not apply for approval for 7 houses.
No.
Yeah. So Vishal said, can you please share a link? So Sirat has popped in a link, Vishal, in the chat or in the comments, meetme.so/property investors academy. So yeah. Do we have any other questions, guys? We have like something like 32 people watching.
33 people.
Yeah, yeah. So if we can have any other questions before we
wrap up. And if you're watching a replay, do put in #replay. And if you've got questions for Prakash or ourselves, if you're watching the replay, please make sure that you pop them in the comments and we will come back to you with responses on those. Yep. Vishal, we will reply to your comment and provide you with a link, or Surat could message you, but we'll reply to your comment shortly.
Yeah.
Great. Yes, if we don't have any more questions then, any other thoughts, Prakash, before we wrapped up?
Newbie here, what areas are you targeting in Sydney? So I guess that depends on the budget really, right? And it depends. I think Prakash was looking all even up to Newcastle, not just Sydney.
Depends. Yeah, obviously depending on the budget. Yeah.
Is QE affecting property prices? What's QE? Quantitative easing. No, it's hot as ever. The market's hot.
Vishal saying good luck, Prakash, for the next property.
Thank you. Thanks, Vishal.
Excellent.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you so much, Prakash, for making the time for the group today.
And we are wishing Smita and yourself all the very best with the next deal and, many more years of capital growth to come.
Thank you. Thanks, Mona. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you. So let me just stop the live stream.